Palace are in pole position in the promotion race, but today at Selhurst Park, Charlton badly need a derby victory to keep their bid going. Palace seem capable of arrowing their way straight back to the Premier League. They must keep their nerve in the final 6 weeks. Charlton have faltered lately, distracted by their cup ambitions. They have to get back on track. Steve Gritt and Alan Kirbishley deserve the highest praise. On a shoestring, they've exceeded all expectations. Alan Smith has also achieved great things in his first year in charge. Just lately, he's been able to add to his squad. Also today, the rest of the NZ League highlights. Nottingham Forest are proving the biggest rivals for the London clubs.
Good afternoon. A big promotion battle then this afternoon at Selhurst Park, and with me to enjoy it as always is the Saint. Enjoyable for us, Saint, but it's a serious business for everybody down at Selhurst Park, isn't it?
Serious business for everybody who's playing this afternoon. I mean, this is a big game, a very important game for both sides. And you know, you were saying that the Palace have been able to get players in. Well, they've only really got Paul Stewart in, haven't they, on loan from Liverpool? But I think he's been a key player for them, very important. But you know, there's 11 games to go for Palace, 6 at home and 5 away. And none more important than today's against big promotion rivals. Well, setting the scene for us at Selhurst Park is Jim Rosenthal. Jim.
Well, Cheltenham's over, the grounds are firming up, and Palace and Charlton are entering that crucial final straight. You know, at the start of the season, you could have got 11-1 on Palace winning the First Division. They look really good odds now, and as the Palace news confirms here this afternoon, Palace feel they're pushing for and will end up in the Premiership. I suppose you can sum up the difference between the sides is that here today Palace can afford to relegate their £1 million signing Bruce Dyer to substitute, while Charlton struggling to strengthen their team. Well, they just can't afford the wages to bring good new players to the Valley. But Charlton have got Leaburn and Minto back from the team that lost at Millwall in the week, and of course they boast the best defence in the division. Just finally, there's been a right old pre-match battle going on round the dressing room area. It really has been deafening stuff from the ghetto blasters in there, and my earplugs tell me Charlton have won that one on points.
Jim, thanks very much.
A very attractive side, but this of course was the first goal. Gary Nelson knocking that one in. Took the lead, so you know, they play good football, don't they, I have to say. But this fight back, if you like, from Millwall, that was a real storming Alex Rae free kick. Now Alex Rae, I do think that he has got the potential to play for Scotland. I really do think that. And this was Rae, time added on, last minute, gets a real touch. I don't think Morley's shot was going in. Rae got a little deflection, and you know, a real tough defeat that really for Charlton, wasn't it? You know, they've lost a bit of ground because of that one. I think if they'd have got a draw out of that, they might have been reasonably happy with it. So if they win today, of course, they will then go above Millwall.
OK, Saint, we shall find out in just a very few minutes.
Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a good game. I think both teams are very capable of that, because they do play a bit of football, and which I like to see on the Sunday match. Armstrong, I love to see Armstrong. I think he's got real potential to be a major star in football. I'll be interested to see how Paul Stewart gets on playing in this Palace side, because we haven't seen them. As far as Charlton are concerned, obviously they depend a lot on Carl Leaburn up the front there, along with Nelson. So you know, he'll have to carry the load, as it were, up the front there. But I'm expecting a good game, expecting, you know, a good quality football this afternoon.
Charlton never won on the Sunday match.
Don't mention that. A Charlton fan said to me the other day, we never win on television, so I wasn't going to mention it. But
all right.
Yes, they never win on television.
Well, I didn't either. Believe that, you believe anything. We'll have to leave it there, because things are about to go underway at Selhurst Park. Time now to join our commentary team, the Luton Town manager, David Pleat. But first, here's Brian Moore.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Jim Rushton, the referee from Stoke, leading out the two sides. An afternoon of real importance and significance for both teams, as Palace find their lead whittled to 2 points by Nottingham Forest's brilliant late run. Charlton have slipped to 5th, their lowest of the season, and certainly will be looking to get back on track today. Let's take a check on the two teams then, starting with Crystal Palace. They have Nigel Martyn in goal. Number 2 is John Humphrey. 3, Dean Gordon. 4 is Gareth Southgate. 5, Eric Young. And 6, Chris Coleman. 7, Simon Rodger. 8, Bobby Bowry. 9, Chris Armstrong, their top scorer with 20. 10 is Paul Stewart. And 11, John Salako. Manager Alan Smith has one change forced on him. Damien Matthews unfit. Bobby Bowry then returns to the right of midfield. It's a good midfield as well. Gareth Southgate among the goals. Simon Rodger and John Salako providing some good technique down the left side. Chris Armstrong and Paul Stewart will certainly take some holding up front. Stewart, of course, who's on loan from Liverpool until the end of this month, plus another 3 games after that. Only 1 goal, though, in his 10 games so far for Palace, but apparently the upside is that he's slotted in really well and has got a good effect on those around him. Let's check on the Charlton side then with their squad numbers. Number 22, John Vaughan in goal. Number 24, Steve Brown. 1, Stuart Balmer. 10, Alan McLeary, the captain. 11, Scott Minto. 27, Mark Robson. 16, Darren Pitcher. 15, Alan Pardew. 21, Colin Walsh. 12, Gary Nelson. And 8, Carl Leaburn. Charlton strengthened after their midweek defeat at Millwall. Scott Minto returns to left back and Carl Leaburn to their attack. And like Palace, Charlton looked really good in midfield. Mark Robson down one flank, the wily Colin Walsh down the other. And Darren Pitcher, scorer of vital goals, and the former Palace man Alan Pardew. I've got a feeling it's an afternoon that could truly be settled in this area. Substitutes this afternoon for Palace, it's Richard Shaw, Bruce Dyer and Andy Woodman. And for Charlton Athletic, Phil Chapple, Kim Grant and Bob Boulder. As I say, the referee, Jim Rushton from Stoke. David Pleat alongside me. David, your thoughts about this afternoon?
Looks a good one in the making, Brian, because Palace has scored 58 goals, the highest scorers in the division this season. Charlton, very well organised, only conceded 32. So it should be a fascinating contest. Important one for Palace, important week for them, with Middlesbrough to come midweek.
Indeed, Palace, if they win, go 5 points clear of Forest, who will then have a game in hand. Charlton, if they win, they go 4th ahead of Millwall, 2 points behind Leicester, with a game in hand. And away we go. Palace then in the red and blue. Charlton in a change strip of white with black shorts. Armstrong, who's got tremendous pace, making a great run, just keeping the ball in play. A throw to Charlton Athletic. Palace have lost only once at home in the league, that to Notts County. They've already beaten Charlton in the Coca-Cola Cup and drawn in the league at the Valley. They also won the away leg at Charlton in the Coca-Cola Cup as well, and they lost there in the Anglo-Italian. So it's the 5th time these two sides have met, and Palace just about have the edge on it as Balmer puts it back to John Vaughan, getting a run in this Charlton side with Mike Salmon injured. Pitcher knocking it forward. Humphrey with the header. Humphrey, who was a former Charlton player. 194 games for him, in fact, the Palace number 2. And 3 times was their player of the year. In fact, he was also a former Wolverhampton Wanderers player, and his only goal of the season was actually live on television here, an absolute belter against Wolves. I just wonder whether he will find the same treatment for his old club Charlton as well. Minto just knocking that away, very talented left back. But as the Palace manager Alan Smith's been saying, we just have to keep our nerve now to make sure of a place in the Premiership. Here's Gary Nelson on the far side, but the ball just dribbling out of play. David?
Yes, well, it'll be a good test, particularly for the Charlton defenders, against the pace and strength of Chris Armstrong and Paul Stewart, who seems to be revitalised by this stage at Crystal Palace when things weren't going too well for him.
Brown knocking it forwards. Pitcher. Leaburn chasing. Humphrey looking around. the throw goes Palace's way. Martyn with the throw. This is Dean Gordon. Picked up by Southgate. Humphrey. Good big crowd here at Selhurst Park for this one. South London local derby. Southgate playing it forward towards Armstrong. And Alan McLeary shadowing Armstrong. And it's a goal kick for Charlton Athletic. Having a real tough away run at Charlton at the moment. Away to Bolton, which they lost. Away to Manchester United in the Cup, which they lost. Away to Millwall, which they lost in the last moments in midweek. Now away to Crystal Palace. And I think it's something like 3 of their last 5 games are at home on this so crucial run in. Nelson just knocking that down. Chris Coleman getting it back to Nigel Martyn. Up goes Stewart. Minto returning the header for Charlton. Simon Rodger. Brown knocking it forwards. Moment of hesitation there, it seemed to be, between Coleman and Young. Gordon hooking it clear. Again, Stewart first to show. The little touch there for Armstrong. Played on by him. McLeary doing a good tidying up job at the back, and Vaughan getting it away. It's an important part of a goalkeeper's armoury these days, being able to deal with back passes. Alan Kirbishley, the co-manager of Charlton, saying that this fellow is very good dealing with back passes. He's a terrific shot stopper. At 5'10", he might just lack a little bit in height when it's dealing with the high balls. We'll need to look at that today. He's young, never has any trouble dealing with high balls. Got up well for that one. Coleman hooking it back. Chris Coleman probably been Palace's most consistent player, they say, over the last few months. McLeary doing well under great provocation there from Stewart. And Stewart had words that was quite unnecessary. And Jim Rushton, the referee, telling him to cut that out straight away. Quite right.
So stupid to upset the referee early in the game. I mean, that was unnecessary.
I can't see what Stewart was complaining about. If anybody, it was McLeary who had the complaint.
Yeah. As a young forward at Blackpool and then at Manchester City before Terry Venables converted him at Tottenham, he liked that front-running role, and of course he was a very aggressive player running down the channels. But there's types of aggression.
Free kick to Palace. Interesting, actually, that Alan Smith sees him as a front man and not the midfielder, Paul Stewart.
Yes, it could well be that he's doing a holding job at the moment. Bruce Dyer has been very good this season at Watford, and I'm sure that the transfer of him into the Palace colours will prove to be a very good signing in time.
Walsh could make no headway there. It's Armstrong again. Stewart's in the middle. Rodger's come up quickly as well. Looking to get the ball in off Bowry. Stewart again, just playing it in, and a good save by Vaughan from Simon Rodger. Got down really well then.
That was an excellent touch by Paul Stewart that gave Rodger the opportunity to hit that volley. Here we see a good quality touch by Stewart and a first-time volley. Fine effort, good save, good quality. And notice how much the ball is bouncing, despite the ground staff's attempts to water and to soften the bounce a little bit. But the grounds are drying out now, and we're going to have that towards Easter, and it's a slight change of play. You need a good first touch.
This might come for Nelson. It'll go for the corner at any rate. This is where Leaburn could be a problem for them. And also Steve Brown, the fullbacks come into it. Minto, though, playing it to McLeary. To Minto again. Walsh. And a long way across there before it was cleared by Stewart. Charlton throw. Stewart. Hit fairly long, cut out by Darren Pitcher. Good turn there by Mark Robson, trying to get into the action there. Now pushed by Bowry down for Armstrong. Look at his pace. And he gets a corner. I don't think there's anything quicker in the game at the moment than Chris Armstrong, you know.
It's a marvellous release ball as well, when you know that your front runner's going to spin out wide and chase towards the corners there. He can deliver that ball knowing there's a telepathy, and he's won a corner purely through his strength and his determination and his timing of his run.
Significant now that Eric Young has come right up onto that Crystal Palace goal line, onto that Charlton goal line, mentioning that Vaughan at 5'10" just might lack the inch or two. Leaburn's come back to mark him though. Rodger with the corner, curled in. Not away yet, but Leaburn got the header in. That's what he was there for. Didn't get a lot of ground on it. Chris Coleman in there as well. Stewart trying to make something of it. The whistle's gone. It's a free kick. It's such a tight league, this Ensley Insurance First Division. And I suppose some of those looking at playoff places like, well, maybe Charlton, certainly Charlton, would have been gratified that Tranmere fell a little bit by the wayside yesterday, as did Leicester. I think David Leitch's got a theory that the possibility of the playoff is, well, with teams that are way down the table at the moment, even as far as Portsmouth. We'll come on to that in a moment. Armstrong, he is so active. He's onto the left foot, and Vaughan was able to hold it. But he is going to be a constant problem for Charlton Athletic this afternoon. Good technique. Here's Leaburn, off his chest. Charlton can't get into a rhythm yet. Ball still with Palace. Dean Gordon, the left back. Too high for Stewart. Alan McLeary. Gordon again. In went Brown. Here's Leaburn. It's good competitive stuff, this. Free kick to Charlton Athletic.
Charlton keep their shape very well. You'll very rarely see Brown and Minto, unless the mood of the game, if they're chasing the game and that dictates it, they're coming forward and running forward recklessly. They keep their shape at the back and they use the ball very economically, and they're very neat and tidy in their distribution. Palace, you'll notice, a little bit more direct, a little bit quicker to get the ball forward.
Pitcher. An unfair challenge by Rodger. And the free kick taken quickly there by Alan McLeary. Miscue there by Robson. In goes Gareth Southgate. And Rodger's taken a little bit of a knock. So, some treatment there for Simon Rodger. Had from Bognor Regis. Just elaborate a little bit on this, the tightness in this Ensley First Division, David, where you feel that anybody down as far as Portsmouth, your theory that...
Well, I think that Portsmouth, Sunderland now, teams that may not have envisaged getting into the playoff positions, those with 46, 47 points. Derby at the bottom of the pack in the playoff current position at 53 points. Any team getting 2 or 3 results, stringing them together, could really have a scare there. I do believe that Palace and Forest now will be difficult to be dislodged by any team out of the top 6, that is for sure. But you know, the irony, and 34 points cover the 24 clubs in the league, the irony is all the Midlands clubs who are complaining pre-season about 14 local derbies. At the moment, the league is being dominated. The top 7 clubs, 4 from the East Midlands, 3 from South London. So the local derbies have kept them on edge.
Well, Simon Rodger back in the fray. Brown with the throw for Charlton. Just flipped on to Gary Nelson then. Robson. They'll be sprightly down their flanks with Charlton. Martyn shouting for that one. And the long clearance as they look to release these 2 men up the front. But McLeary sticking so close to Stewart. I think he was a free transfer, wasn't he, from Millwall? He's such a good pro.
Yeah, he had a spell at Millwall where the fans weren't too happy with him, and I think he made 1 or 2 mistakes. It can happen. And he went and served some kind of reclusive spell in the reserves. But then Charlton have picked him up and revitalised his career, and he's done marvellously well for them this season.
It's Martyn's ball. Pardew out jumping Southgate. Mentioned about John Humphrey being a former Charlton player. Of course, Alan Pardew, the midfielder for Charlton, had a great career here at Crystal Palace, the number 15 in the white shirt. See him there. John Humphrey with the throw. Armstrong. Humphrey playing it in towards Rodger. This pitcher who got back there with the clearance. Pardew versus Southgate. Southgate gets it in. Stewart with a chance. It's over the top. It looked as though, actually it probably looked easier than it was because it was bouncing awkwardly, and look at McLeary's part in it now. McLeary makes a real nuisance to himself. Stewart puts it over the top.
Good early ball from Southgate. It was a little bit of a hope ball, and after McLeary lunged and missed, it was just too high. He needed the ball to come down a shade more before volleying.
Robson. Nelson. Oh, and he's got past Coleman. Leaburn's waiting in the middle for him. Pardew's in there as well, and so too is Nigel Martyn. Good catch. Not under great pressure, but looking around. It's got a good feel, this game.
Yes, nice feel, nice pace to it. 2 good catches by Martyn, which will do plenty for his confidence.
Up goes Stewart, just flicks it on. Got the better of Balmer on that occasion. Humphrey just cushioning it sideways for Bobby Bowry. Palace's throw. Charlton get it clear, but only Nelson is up there. Coleman and Gordon between them. In goes Brown. Salako, haven't seen anything of him yet. In goes pitcher. Now we're seeing something of Salako. Taking on Brown, cutting inside well there. Now what's open for him? Stopped in the end by Pardew. Will it come to Stewart? No, Pardew just got there first. Dean Gordon playing it in again. This time it was Balmer with the clearance, the big Scottish defender. Armstrong just having it nicked away again, and Stewart putting it over. I think it was Pardew who got that challenge in on Armstrong. Walsh in there. A vital touch, that one.
Well, it looks as though the Charlton central defenders, McLeary and Balmer, can have a tough afternoon with Armstrong and Stewart. But I also notice a little bit of edginess by the 2 Welshmen at the heart of the Palace defence, Coleman and also Young. I think the movement of Charlton might be something for them to have to contend with this afternoon too.
It's with Minto. Colin Walsh. Up to Leaburn. Walsh again playing it in. Leaburn again trying to collect, but Humphrey gets it clear. Stacked forward to Bowry. In goes Minto. It's a Palace throw. Andy Thorne, of course, missing from the centre of the Palace defence still.
Yes, he's a good reader of the game, Andy Thorne, and of course he has missed most of this season. They've permed a little bit at the back with central defence, but Young and Coleman are experienced enough. Both play at international level.
Here's pitcher. Back to McLeary. Coleman in first. Pitcher with a little cushioned header again. A missed kick that time by Young, but not by Coleman. Balmer underneath this one with Armstrong. Bowry with the touch. And here's Humphrey. Hit long this time, trying to release Stewart, but Balmer read that well. Palace's throw, 0-0. Coming up to 18 minutes. John Humphrey. Minto gets it clear. Up towards Gary Nelson. Coleman to Gordon. It's another good. He attacks the ball so well, does Armstrong. £1 million player from Millwall. Came originally from Wrexham, didn't he?
Yes, it was Bruce Rioch that signed him from Millwall. He took a chance after his early appearances for Wrexham, and he's just progressed. And of course, the player that went in the swap to Millwall, Jamie Morley, is also doing well. It's nice when a swap deal, it suits both parties.
Salako. Here's Gordon. Stewart chasing this time. Balmer's with him. McLeary with the header. Pitcher helping it on its way. Only as far as Gordon. Flicked with the outside of the boot, but too firmly.
I would love to see Salako get on the ball. He's lifted the game when he gets the touches. And I just feel that sometimes Dean Gordon, instead of looking forward, they're so orientated by the tremendous power and pace of Armstrong, they tend to look for him very early. I'd love to see Salako get on the ball and really try and stretch Brown, the Charlton right back.
Young going for this one, shouting for it as he went. Knocked through now towards Gary Nelson, but how well Humphrey did. In the end, gets it away for the throw. Again, just detecting a slight unease at the centre of that Crystal Palace defence, David.
Yes, Nelson's movement is very good, and of course Leaburn's awkward and not easy to handle. He's a much improved player. He leads the line quite well. He can play into his feet for a big man. He's got a nice deft touch.
Young with a slight problem. In spite of the headband. Welsh international. Southgate along there. Walsh. No, whistle gone. There was an offside. Let's go to the bench. Jim Rosenthal's got Alan Smith with him.
Alan Smith, just about halfway through the opening half. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think we've got off to a good start. I'd like to see us hitting the target a little bit more. We've had a couple of shots, both of which have gone wide. But I think we're just starting to bed down. But again, you're seeing how difficult Charlton are to break down. They're very well organised at the back. They push up at the right times, and of course there they've called us offside now for the third time. And I think we've got to work a bit harder to get back onside.
David Pleat just made the point you'd like to see more of John Salako, see him more in the game anyway.
Yes, I think so, but he's got to start giving a few better angles. There's a few times that he's running away from the ball. I think he's just got to look to get it a little bit shorter. But there's plenty of time yet, Martin. I don't think we want to start bombing people forward.
Or even Jim.
Strange positions, or Jim. We want to start bombing people too early forwards. I think we've got to keep a nice solid shape.
Right, but a good game building up here finally.
Yes, without doubt.
Thanks, Alan.
So a free kick to Charlton. John Vaughan will take it. Started the season really, I suppose, as third choice. Bob Boulder, who's on the subs bench today. Bob not totally fit yet. He's had almost a year out of the game. It's good to see Bob Boulder getting back into it. And Mike Salmon, of course, who's had the goalkeeping shirt for most of this season, is injured. But John Vaughan came from Cambridge. 29-year-old. Experienced keeper though for all that. There's Leaburn. Gets it into Robson. McLeary playing it in. A great shout again from Nigel Martyn. And the long clearance by him. Up goes Armstrong. Odds it down. Bowry takes it up. Gets it back for Humphrey. Crossed in again towards Stewart. And Robson gets it clear. It's with Walsh.
There's a nice pace to the game. The ball's being moved around the field quickly, and people have got to concentrate out there.
Coleman. It's Nelson. Walsh. Pardew dispossessing Stewart. Walsh knocking it for Minto. Nelson on that far side. Pardew just touching it off the pitcher. Plays it for Brown. Robson's peeled off. Not as far right maybe as Brown would have wanted him. Pitcher though just playing it forward for Nelson. They're playing a few sensible passes here, Charlton. It goes to Colin Walsh on the far side now. Needs to deliver a good cross now. Minto with the cross. And Dean Gordon. Robson's behind him. Had a few shouts of warning from his teammates. Steve Brown with a throw. Coleman. In goes pitcher. Coleman again. Stewart taken nicely on his body, hooked over there, but Minto will come for this one. Hit forward by him towards Gary Nelson. And Coleman concedes the corner.
That was a super place ball by Minto there to Gary Nelson. The movement of Nelson is good, the tidiness of Charlton is effective, and I do believe at the moment Walsh and pitcher are beginning to affect the game.
Robson with the corner then for Charlton. Simon Rodger, in fact, who got it away. Touched in there by pitcher. And again the long clearance from Nigel Martyn. Stopped by Balmer. Free kick to Palace.
Alan Smith was talking there about them being caught 3 times offside, but there's no team that move out quicker when the ball is played forward than Crystal Palace.
Bite a bit, in other words. Well, somebody got a smack there. And there's going to be a booking there for Simon Rodger. What did you see there, David?
Well, certainly you think he went into the back of him. Here we see the ball. I mean, I don't think he really had a chance of getting the ball. He's gone into the back of him. And I think Mr. Rushton is right. It's a yellow card. I wouldn't have thought that Simon Rodgers accumulated too many of those.
The pitch is okay. Charlton with the kick. John Vaughan. Towards Pardew on the far side. Walsh keeps it in play. The good movement again of Gary Nelson. But Southgate's across there with him. Palace fans getting behind their team now as Bowry comes forward. Humphrey into Southgate, usually such an influential man in the midfield, and a good goal scorer too, and sprayed out a lovely ball here for Salako. Knocked in quickly. Noticeable too that as soon as Salako got the ball, Robson came also to help his fullback. So it was a double banked piece of defending. Brown with the throw for Charlton. Towards Leaburn, but Dean Gordon got there first, hit long. I don't think Nelson will have the legs for this one. Humphrey plays it back to the big Cornishman Nigel Martyn. Walsh just keeping it in play. Leaburn. Stopped by Young. McLeary.
Two giants marking each other there. Carl Leaburn and big Eric Young. So certainly be a physical tussle.
Rodger's ball intercepted by Brown. A nice little back heel from Robson. Walsh playing it in for Robson again. Walsh holding on to it. Came off pitcher's head there towards Stewart. Armstrong. This is terrific stuff. Well, he's got a chance for Salako to get a shot in here. It's just wide of the post. That was a great run by Armstrong, and you just get the feeling that it maybe should have had a better finish from Salako.
There almost seemed a reluctance to tackle Armstrong as he strode across the face of the box there. But that was a fine effort by Salako. I can't help feeling that it gives me that little bit of excitement when Salako gets on the ball. He knows exactly what he's doing here. He takes it across the fullback and he hits it with vicious pace. And there for a foot would be the opening goal.
Armstrong. Stewart. Strength takes him past Darren Pitcher. Salako again. Steve Brown facing him. Robson coming to support his fullback, but he played in there easily that time into the arms of Vaughan. Bowry. Armstrong, here he goes again. Stewart waiting in the middle. Just look at the white shirts getting back. Well aware of the danger now. It's a goal kick. Minto having a word with the linesman. Actually, it's given a corner.
One senses when Armstrong's in possession, there's almost a reluctance to challenge him. Now, they've got to get really tight to him and make him play the ball backwards. They mustn't really let him allow the ball to run the ball at him. Once he gets the defender on his heels, there's a great nervousness.
Actually, it's a free kick. There was a foul on Armstrong just as before that ball crossed the line by Minto. Rodger with the free kick, floated in there. Vaughan comes for it, punches it away. Gary Nelson thought about a back pass, decided against it, which was probably wise. Brown gets it clear, and space now for Pitcher. Robson's in the middle for it. Took a long time deciding. Leaburn's in there too, and Walsh, and a great save by Martyn. Super bit of football again.
Yes, good play by Charlton, good play by Pitcher, lovely touch by Leaburn, and all things bright and beautiful there. Lovely volley by Walsh, and an excellent save by Martyn.
Corner then for Charlton, 0-0. 31 minutes gone. Mark Robson with it. A deeper one this time. Up goes Leaburn again, and hooked away by Southgate, but the whistle had gone.
That was a good move by Charlton, because when they were in a wide position, rather than put the in-swinger in with the left foot from the right-hand side, which Martyn has picked out of the air most comfortably, there was Pitcher playing the ball in with his right foot, and Leaburn able to knock it back to the oncoming Walsh. It was a good approach play, and it started with Nelson very deep, playing a neat, tidy ball to Brown, the fullback.
Too high for Brown that time. Salako off on the run again. McLeary is coming across to cut it out. Gets it back to Gordon. Alan Smith saying to me yesterday, he said that he thought the passing in the first division of the Ensley League is probably as good as it is in the Premiership itself. The only thing that maybe is lacking is real high-quality goalkeeping at this level, although I don't think we've got anything to complain about with the two goalkeepers here today. And the fact that in the Premiership so much of the game is played, the technique has got much more pace and power about it, David. But in passing, he thought that this league was quite as good as the Premier League.
Well, there is some very good passing players in this league. I think the Premiership has more leaders, more players on the field who can make decisions for themselves.
Here's Armstrong. That's going to be a corner. Did you want to expand on that?
I suppose the sadness is sometimes that any player that really shows he's a cut above the average in the Ensley League is taken off by the Vultures into the Premiership, which is rather sad for the likes of Charlton and others.
And Luton. Here comes the corner from Rodger. Well, again, he used what height he got very well indeed. Nelson's using his skill well there too to get it clear. He hasn't looked in serious discomfort, John Vaughan, has he, in spite of his lack of inches, 5'10", with the likes of Eric Young, Chris Coleman around him.
Yeah, it's not easy for him to clear the balls under pressure. Of course, the delivery of the Palace in-swinging balls from corner kicks is very good. Simon Rodger is a very good deliverer.
Here's Salako delivering a long throw into the Charlton box. It's McLeary who got the header clear. Salako again, hitting Pitcher in the face with that one. Now with his right foot. Just about 10 minutes of the first half left of a really absorbing first half. Up goes Coleman. Rodger. Stewart just ducking in there, but that time there was a foul by Alan McLeary. A free kick to Palace. Humphrey with it. Floating towards Paul Stewart, knocked on by him. Coleman was in quickly. There was a flag up.
You have the feeling all the time that the likes of Coleman and Young coming up for set plays can always be a danger.
Coleman tussling there with Nelson. Pitcher. Nelson. Turned beautifully away from Coleman. Might try a long-range shot, but Martyn poised nicely behind it. Flag is up for an offside. Let's have a quick word with Steve Gritt, who's co-manager of Charlton with Jim Rosenthal.
Steve Gritt, I think I probably just about got you behind on points, but coming pretty strong. Would you disagree with that?
I thought we started pretty slowly. It took us a while to get our legs and get ourselves going. But I think we're getting more into the game now. I mean, the keeper's made a great save just now from
Walsh.
Yeah, I mean, that was a superb save. Apart from that, I think it's fairly tight, it's fairly even. But I'm happy now that we've got ourselves going a bit now.
Any particular improvements that you're looking for?
Better crosses at the moment. We seem to be getting there, but at the moment we're putting too many straight into the keeper's hands. I think the first quality cross we actually put in, Carlo was able to get on the end of it where Walsh got his chance.
But you still fancy your chances finally?
If we can keep it tight as we are at the moment, yeah, I think we will.
Thanks, Steve.
Cheers, Jim.
So goal kick to Palace. Where you were saying a bit earlier that Palace were looking to get Salako started. I think we haven't really seen the best of young Mark Robson yet in this game. There's Leaburn with a header. Young looking around at Coleman to see where it should go and decides in the end to put it back. Header by Stewart, trying again to release the pace of Armstrong, then a foul conceded there by Darren Pitcher. Humphrey with the free kick. Gordon's gone forward to this and scored 1 or 2 excellent goals in his short career here. It's a goal kick. I don't think Crystal Palace have lost live on television this season, and Charlton haven't won live on television this season.
Let's hope then if it's a scoring draw, it's a big scoring draw.
Yes. Armstrong. Southgate. Salako. Controlled and killed a beautiful ball. A difficult ball beautifully there. Gordon. To Rodger. Gordon again, planting it forward. Armstrong and Salako after this. It's Armstrong now. Salako's gone peeling inside. He just clipped off the defender's foot. Out of the way there by the defence. And the referee's given a free kick. And wants Steve Brown to come to him. It's a free kick to Crystal Palace in what could be a very dangerous area.
I assume that must be for kicking the ball away there.
Can only be, can't it?
Which seems, yeah, it is for kicking the ball away, which in the skirmish almost seems unimportant. Probably get 2 points deducted for that. They all accumulate.
Well, it's Simon Rodger behind this free kick, and Jim Rushton wants the Charlton wall, and it's a substantial one. Back a bit further.
I think we can look for Humphrey.
You think? A little touch from Rodger for Humphrey coming in. No. In fact, it was McLeary got it away. Bowry then knocking it in again, but an offside. Not 1, not 2, but 3 Palace players offside.
Yeah, they closed the ball very well, did Charlton there.
Coleman versus Leaburn. It's Coleman who's won it. Salako turning away from Brown, but he's got Pitcher to deal with. Free kick again to Palace. Pulled everybody back. Dean Gordon facing this one. John Vaughan. It's a sight of it, but it's still a long way out. Leaburn going for this one, successfully gets the header. Colin Walsh. And a Palace throw, still 0-0. The last 4 minutes of the first half. Bowry. Stewart. Humphrey. Played in for Stewart. And Palace get a corner, conceded by Scott Minto. Young in there again. Southgate more or less at the near post, looking possibly for the little flick on. They haven't been happy, Palace, with the way they've been delivering the corners the last few games. That's a McLeary! And Chris Armstrong. No chance there for Vaughan. David?
Well, we spoke about the delivery from set plays, the lovely high curved ball. Armstrong timed his run to perfection, and the little worry we had with Vaughan's ability to cope well in the air and to catch cleanly. He can't come amongst the bodies, and the physical power and the timing of the run of Armstrong has just won the day. Probably the most most effective player in the half, has edged the game in Palace's favour.
I tell you, that was a terrific header, you know, wasn't it?
It was, because there was bodies, and he's had to come in and really get amongst them. He had to be brave.
Nelson trying to break through at the other end. Gordon holding him up. Free kick for Crystal Palace.
From Charlton's point of view, an awful time to concede. It will change the whole mode of the team talk at half-time. I was just thinking that Alan and Steve would be able to go in and say that you've done well, you've kept it tight for the first half. Now we can push on a little bit. And now, you know, he has to change it.
Again, management all about attention to detail, and Alan Smith was very unhappy with the way the corners are being played in, but there's a chance now the whistle had gone, but the way they've been playing their corners in without a great deal of imagination over the last few matches, and they practiced long and hard on that particular aspect of the game yesterday, and my goodness, it's paid off brilliantly today.
Yeah, they got 5 strong headers of the ball. Young and Coleman, Southgate, who is a converted central defender in midfield, and of course Armstrong and Stewart. And it's often difficult for the opposition to find 5 comfortable at marking.
Now Stewart, might be another one here. Bowry on the far side, just wide. Bobby Bowry very nearly in for his first goal of the season after Stewart looked to be in a good position here. In the end, the ball just nicks off the defender. In comes Bowry, the midfielder, and just wide of the far post.
Yeah, it looked a very good chance. And once again, it was the strong, thrustful play of Armstrong and Stewart.
Up goes Leaburn, a flick on towards Nelson. Coleman gets it away. Palace was saying we just need to keep our heads to make sure of an automatic promotion place. I figure they need something like 5 wins, maybe in their last, I think it's 11 games, 11, 12 games. Here's Pardew. Leaburn. Stopped by Bowry. Free kick to Charlton. Right on half-time now. A little bit of time to be added on. 1 or 2 injuries in this first 45 minutes. Walsh. Driving the free kick in towards Colin Leaburn. Flicked on. It was Robson who got the touch in there, and Martyn who got down quickly.
Well, here's a knockdown. Once again, it's Leaburn. Excellent ball. And Robson just didn't get enough power behind it, and Martyn covered well. Good first half for the Palace goalkeeper. He's been confident in everything that he's done.
Vaughan with the clearance now for Charlton. Southgate with the header. Free. Walsh. Charlton's throw. Coming up to 2 minutes of time being added on. Nelson being hustled. So the half-time whistle goes. An excellent first half too, with a lot of terrific movement, good technique, 1 or 2 good goal-mouth incidents, and that goal by Chris Armstrong so close to half-time, that flying header from the corner, which gives Crystal Palace a precious half-time lead. Half-time then at Selhurst Park in this promotion battle. It's Crystal Palace 1, Charlton Athletic 0.
Spot now, makes his run there, leaves 2 defenders behind him, and as they're all standing there, he's on the run, so obviously he's got the spring, and it's a super header.
Any question mark about the keeper?
Well, the goalkeeper's always had a bit of a problem. his lack of height, and he's not been able to come out and really be commanding with the crosses. But there was a lot of players there between him and the ball, and I would think you've got to look at your defenders there. Somebody should have got a touch on that one there. But, I mean, Armstrong, 10 out of 10, super goal.
He has been terrific all half, actually, and we can have a look at the run he produced, which nearly gave Salako the first goal.
Well, I said to you at the beginning, this boy is destined for better things. I mean, he really is a star in the making, if he's not a star already. But he runs with the ball ever so well. He's got really searing pace. But his control here was great. Went across the defenders. And then John Salako, funnily enough, there was too big a gap between him and the defender to give him the space that he was looking for. But I mean, he was only, what, inches out with that when he tried to bend it in the far post. But the defender was too far away from him. You know, had he been closer, he'd have turned in, probably had more composure when he hit it.
Well, it hasn't been one-way traffic, because Charlton have had their chances.
Well, I think that Charlton could get a goal off crosses, and that the problem is, and as it was said on the bench there, that they're not getting the crosses in of any quality. But if they get crosses in, keep it away from the goalkeeper. Big Leaburn gets his head to stop, and I think he's caused a problem for them. And Walsh here really there. You know, an experienced player like him, I would think he will look at that as a very bad miss rather than a great goalkeeping save, because if you look at it from this angle, you'll probably see it better. There's Leaburn in there, battling for the ball, great ball in, and then he comes on to, all he needs to do, keep it low either side of the goalkeeper, and he's in business. And he went for the power, and the goalkeeper made the save.
What does Steve Gritt and Alan Curbishley have to say to get their players to change their ways in the second half?
I would think they would say to Walsh, look, let's get some balls in from the wide positions here, because I think they've had two very good chances from Leaburn heads down. So if they can get the ball to him, he'll knock it down and the chances will be there.
We shall see. We'll take a break there.
Let's just straightway go down and have a word with the Palace defender, injured, Andy Thorne. He's with Jim.
Andy Thorne, Palace's non-playing captain, I suppose, well satisfied, particularly with that late strike in the first half.
Yeah, it was a big bonus for us going in 1-up. We had a few chances. It's an entertaining game, but I think we deserve to go in 1-up in it. And as I say, hopefully that's give us the impetus to go on now.
And now you want to chase it and improve on that, won't you?
That's right. I mean, we won't be sitting back. We'll be going on to get a result. And 1-0, the game's never over at 1-0, is it? You know that. And you know we've got to push on, and hopefully we'll get something out of it.
Just finally, it's an old footballing cliche about practising on the training ground, making perfect, but I think everyone will be very happy about the way that corner went in.
Yeah, we work hard on set pieces. They're a big part of the game, and it's always pleasing when you score from one.
Cheers, Andy. Let's get back to the action with David Pleat and, of course, Brian Moore.
Well, we're ready just about for the start. Palace then leading by 1-0. And away we go. Walsh hitting it long straight away, and Coleman quite happy that they're going to touch for a throw, which Gordon will take for Crystal Palace. Football's full of the haves and the have-nots, even on this pitch here, where Charlton have got, at least Palace rather, have got a £1 million player on the field, Chris Armstrong, and one off the field, an 18-year-old. Bruce Dyer is amongst the subs, and Charlton's side put together for something like £300,000, but that just underlines what a fabulous job Charlton have done this season. There's Bruce Dyer, 18 years old, from youth football almost, springing into £1 million mark, but you think it's a good buy?
I think it's a good buy. I think the time to buy is when you're on a good run, and I think that often clubs buy when they're panicking and when they're not doing so well, and then they either pay over the odds or their judgment is clouded. I feel that Dyer is very aggressive with his running with the ball. He's a good dribbling player, and he sustains his effort for 90 minutes, which in an 18-year-old is admirable.
Here's Alan McLeary with the free kick for Charlton. Towards Leaburn. One very nice little nod down in that that we saw. Colin Walsh brought out a terrific save from Nigel Martyn from Leaburn's knockdown. He's a much improved striker, is big Carl Leaburn. There he is again, but beaten in the air that time by Coleman. Walsh keeping it going. Coleman getting it back again. Darren Pitcher dinking it in this time. Pardew going hard for this one. And the referee quite right. Pardew jumping at an opponent.
I shouldn't think the Palace fans will criticise Pardew too harshly. Here we see it again. Wasn't over-aggressive, but it was a free kick, all right.
McLeary with a double header. Rodger getting it to Humphrey. Here's Armstrong. Keep going on about good movement, but he goes right along that line, causing trouble wherever he goes with that enormous pace of his. And he's won another corner, which can again be a problem for Charlton. Armstrong will be poised again, along with Coleman and Stewart and Young. Southgate on the edge of the box. Salako, for anything should drop for him. Rodger curling another corner in. It's a good one, floated in again. Keeper in trouble. Charlton in a lot of trouble there. Salako twisting and weaving, and right foot cross coming in this time. Pitcher meeting this one though for Charlton. This is Bowry chasing the ball into touch.
Well, once again, more problems for Charlton from the corners, and I'm sure Alan Smith will have been saying to Armstrong, get down these channels, force the corners, because they're not happy defending against your power and the power of your centre-half, Eric Young.
Scott Minto with the throw. Walsh knocking it on. Nelson chasing. Coleman there with him. I always feel that's obstruction, you know.
Well, the question, of course, for Mr. Rushton is, was he within playing distance of the ball? Certainly, Walsh wasn't able to get to the ball, which would suggest that should be a free kick.
Up goes McLeary. Brown. Hustled by Salako. Gordon playing it into touch for a throw to Charlton. Pitcher. Charlton fans claim there was a push on Robson. It's big Nigel Martyn. It's with Armstrong. Young. Gordon. Salako. Good skill and good technique there, and again by McLeary. And Rodger threaded the ball through there, but I think it must have been Stewart offside. Vaughan with the free kick. Up goes Leaburn. Good jump there again by McLeary. He's had a storming game at the back for Charlton this afternoon. Humphrey hitting it forward again. Up goes Balmer. Trying to shovel the ball forward again to Leaburn. That was well played by McLeary. And now Robson. If they could get him going, all things are going to be possible. Pitcher just kept it in play. Again, just kept possession for Charlton. Robson again with the cross. Walsh on this side, headed clear by Humphrey to Bowry, into the path of Humphrey. Forward again to Armstrong. Almost got going again, but it just fell Balmer's way, and a nice little touch by him from Minto. Into Nelson. No. Goal kick. So much of Charlton's play is very attractive coming up, but they just don't seem to have got that cutting edge, do they? No, they seem to have that in more so than Charlton.
Yes, it's hard if you keep your shape at the back sometimes and you don't release players from the back, then it's hard to make extra men to score goals. You defend well, you concede little, but of course your chances of scoring become less. But there was a case of two full-backs, Humphrey going forward and hoping Armstrong would thread it through, and failing to thread it through, and then on the break Nelson getting the ball and Minto striving forward, and him also being disappointed by Nelson's final pass.
Stewart, Bowry, pitcher, Walsh. Minto has just overcome an ankle injury which caused him to miss the midweek game at Millwall. That's another throw. Southgate shadowing Pardew. And Walsh obstructed a free kick right on the edge of the Palace penalty area. Obstructed by Eric Young. Now what will they do here? They'll look, I mean, Leaburn obviously will be one target for them. Robson and Walsh, a couple of crafty characters there, trying to conjure up something. Two men in the Palace wall. Brown's in there, Nelson's in there, Leaburn, as I say, Balmer's up from the back as well, and Pardew. It's Walsh who's dinked it in, and it's gone in. Has it from Leaburn? And the referee has decided no. Jim Rushton calling somebody to him. Carl Leaburn, is it?
Well, the linesman was right on the spot. The viewers have got a better view of that, I think, than any of the spectators. Well, the ball is hidden, but it looks as though he's held it on the line.
And it's the foul given against, I think it was Alan Pardew coming in. There. Alan Pardew it was. Old teammates they were at one point. But the linesman and referee decided. Actually, he's given a goal kick? Can't be a goal kick.
I'm not sure about that one. That must be a push for the original header. But the linesman was on the spot. He was right in line with Martyn when he clutched the ball. I would suggest on the line. He got a clean touch on it, and one would have thought that he held it on the line, and the whole ball could not have been over, obviously.
Salako. It stays 1-0 to Crystal Palace. Pardew's challenge is acceptable. Rodger finds Salako again, streaking forward. Here's Armstrong. Oh, my goodness, what a shot that was. Bowry with a shot that cannons off Minto. That was a bullet from Chris Armstrong. And they say Vaughan is a good shot stopper. My goodness, he had to be to get behind that one. What a shot.
Yeah, there was a real fire in that bullet, wasn't there? There was a tremendous power. Really caught it just nice and put all his body weight into it.
Rodger curling it in again. And Nelson can bring it away. Being chased by Bowry. Pardew. Balmer. Leaburn. Brown. It's a strange ball from Leaburn. Brown has tried to make something of it now. Can Robson do likewise? Shadowed there by both Gordon and Young. Well, Chirpy Chappie's got a thrill out of it. Brown. There's his cross. Pardew with the header. Goes Armstrong. Here's Stewart. Back again for Armstrong. Will he unleash another one? He has, but it's more dangerous to the advertising boards than it is to John Vaughan.
Paul Stewart is proving a good foil for Armstrong. He's playing very unselfishly. If you see him in this move, look at this lovely touch back. There he is, presenting the leading light in the game for an early shot. And then after he drove it wide, he just put his hand up at the back post there as to say, you could have passed me that ball.
Nelson just flicking it on. Leaburn collects. The back heel. Can pitcher reach this one? No. goes Southgate, brings it clear. Looking to get away, Armstrong away again, but it's a Charlton throw. Missed kick by Humphrey. Pardew. Minto. Leaburn. Stopped by Coleman. Southgate caught in possession just for a moment, but just nicks it away again. Bowry hits it forwards. Humphrey. Thought it was their ball, Armstrong in particular. Linesman is quite sure that it's Scott Minto who gets the throw for Charlton. Young, Armstrong. Bowry. Bowry, Boston again, McLeary reaching that one. Robson. Southgate putting it forward into the arms of John Vaughan. Do you have to play either of these clubs yet, Luton?
We have Palace, which could be a very difficult game. Not sure for whom, towards the end of the season. But we have dismissed Charlton, winning 1-0 and losing 1-0. But they've kept playing their football all season, Charlton. And, you know, they've only added one player, which is admirable. Only this little man, Robson. 120-odd thousand from West Ham. And they've kept their shape. They've played a regular team whenever they can. And they look a well-coached team, well-organised, with good spirit.
Well, they need the good spirit now to come from behind against Crystal Palace. Bowry, Humphrey hoisted forward again towards Armstrong, took that nicely on his body, shielded the ball from McLeary, who was just behind him, but then it's Pardew. Pardew now to Nelson, gets it to Robson. Pardew's made a break on the right-hand side, but Robson goes on his own. Into the side netting.
Tremendous credit there to Alan Pardew. He helped Robson conjure a space to have a good shooting opportunity. Unfortunately for Charlton, he hasn't hit it too well. But look at the way Pardew goes on the outside of Dean Gordon and just drifts his concentration and body movement to the outside. He opens up a lovely space for himself. Good unselfish play by Alan Pardew.
Yes, that was a slow motion that told you everything, didn't it? There was just a slight movement there by Dean Gordon as Pardew went outside him, and it was enough for Robson to turn inside. McLeary with the free kick for Charlton Athletic. Leaburn. Charlton, of course, conquerors of Blackburn Rovers in the FA Cup and really acquitted themselves well against Manchester United. Coleman with a header clear, up to Paul Stewart. And he's taken the kick quickly, trying to release Armstrong again, but Balmer was defending well for Charlton then. Played forward again to Walsh. Charlton in the white, remember. A goal down here at Selhurst Park. A victory for Crystal Palace. We put them 5 points clear at the top. Walsh played in for Scott Minto. Now Robson. Leaburn. Robson again, and just as well for Palace, they close that door quickly. John Humphrey getting the challenge in, but Walsh hitting it long again towards Carl Leaburn. Down he goes, and across the face of the goal. It needed just a touch from Pardew or from Nelson, who'd scrambled into the box.
Excellent, fast-driven cross by Colin Walsh. He's shown us in the last few minutes a little bit of everything, Colin Walsh. He's been a fine campaigner over the years. He's played it short, he's played it composed. He's beginning to be a real influence. He's the one that's making Charlton play a little bit now. They're coming into the game. I know it's a little bit of a cliche, but at the moment, Palace need that second goal. Charlton are emerging, they're playing with more confidence, and there's just a little bit more edge in the game now.
Colin Walsh, I'm sure as all Midland viewers remember, had a terrific career, some 139 games, 32 goals in the league for Nottingham Forest. Nelson couldn't quite get on the end of that, but again, Leaburn is putting in some excellent knockdowns. But now at the other end, it's Armstrong.
Colin Walsh was saying to me just before the game, he said, you know, the older I get, the bigger the pitches seem to get. But he's covered the ground today and no mistake.
But those old ones get wiser every game, and
that's true.
They're clever.
Well, it's Humphrey with the free kick for Crystal Palace, leading 1-0, 63 minutes gone. Stewart poised underneath this one. In fact, there was a shove by him on Pardew. Leaburn up there again. Gordon gets it clear. Bowry. Humphrey. Stewart's made a good run towards the ball on the far side, but the flag is up on this side. There's an offside flag up. The referee hasn't seen it yet. He has now.
There's a dangerous deep ball there delivered by Humphrey. Once again, you can see the spring of that man Armstrong. He really gets high.
Walsh, the man who's beginning to make things tick a little bit. Minto with a great run! Not only a great run, he hurled a great ball in as well, which Nelson couldn't quite get on the end of. Suddenly Charlton are looking the more likely side. Pitcher. Brown. Pitcher again. That was a brave challenge, but it falls for Rodger. Now the chase could be on. McLeary against Armstrong. Throw to Palace. Which Salako will take. Good long throw he's got too. And that's what he's aiming for now. Everybody's gone into the Charlton box. There's a good long throw. Up goes Stewart. Didn't get on the end of it. Minto with the clearance. Leaburn, just for a moment it was 2 against 2, and the ball from Walsh wasn't quite delivered correctly for Nelson, and Walsh was furious with himself for it. Pitcher up towards Nelson, a shove in the back by Coleman, a free kick to Charlton. It's a good spell this for Charlton, David.
Yeah, good spell. Walsh is coming in off the touchline at times, and not easy for Humphrey to go and mark him in there. But the way they play, they work the ball and they play through the midfield. Walsh knows that if he goes in there, he's going to get plenty of touches.
Up towards Leaburn. but it comes off the head of Young, then off the head of Gordon, played forward by Rodger. Free kick, a foul by Pitcher.
Goals are so important, of course, in the Ensley, because it's not goal difference, it's goals scored, and at the moment, of course, Palace with the first half goal have 2 goals more than Forest, their nearest competitors, and the more goals you can pile on, it's worth a point, because in the event of a tie at the end of the season, the goal scored is worth a point.
Good point. Now Minto down the line, Leaburn chasing, Young is with him. Pardew tried to get that gain for Colin Walsh. Brown done by Pardew. Martyn. Leaburn trying to head it out of the keeper's hands there. Big Carl. 13 goals this season, the lad from Lewisham. Balmer loses it in the air. It was again a well-timed challenge by Chris Armstrong. There he is with another header for Bobby Bowry. Oh, good ball by Bowry. Humphrey, will he get to that line? Now, what sort of cross? And a great header again by Armstrong. But straight into the arms of Vaughan. Up done by Nelson, but Armstrong shown himself to be a real class act this afternoon, hasn't he?
Yeah, it was good break by Humphrey, and Armstrong wasn't just a flying header, but he took up the right position. He peeled off and he came back. He offered himself to Humphrey for that ball, and he headed it well. Good catch by Vaughan, but once again Armstrong, the main predator on the field this afternoon. There's no question about that. The man most likely to score.
Minto. Balmer will get it back to John Vaughan. A little over 20 minutes left now. Balmer. Stewart. That was a good ball. Salako. Gordon is making a terrific run outside him, but he won't get there, in fact, because Salako is making such strides himself. And a good cross coming in. And Stewart has made it 2. A great run by Salako. And a super cross by the number 11. And Paul Stewart gets his second goal during his period on loan at Crystal Palace. Vaughan got a touch to it, but Stewart's header was strong enough. An awkward bounce, a second goal, Palace 2-0.
Yeah, perfect delivery by Salako. That's the position I was hoping we might get to in the first half. Here's another chance.
And now Salako being chased by Pitcher. Out of play. He's had such a terrible time with injuries over the last couple of years, but this season has really seen him come to the fore again, John Salako.
Yeah, he's a super player. He's got over a horrific knee problem. He scored 8 goals already this season. Alan Smith brought him back very sensibly and very cleverly and not too quickly. But you always feel when he's in possession he can make something happen.
Here's Armstrong. In towards Barry. Pitcher. It's going to be a struggle for Charlton now. But I think 3 of their last 5 in this season are at home. Can Walsh deliver a ball here? He can. That was a great delivery to Pardew. Couldn't quite get up enough, but he did enough to keep it in play, and Leaburn's ball to Robson wasn't good enough. But it's a Palace throw, or rather a Charlton throw. Robson. On to Brown. To Pitcher. Minto. Curling the left foot in. Easy for Gordon. Minto with a header again. Up towards Leaburn. Didn't know where it was. Coleman did. A long clearance. Stewart Balmer with a header back.
Alan Smith will be tempted to introduce Bruce Dyer into the fray. It wouldn't surprise me in the last 15 minutes as Charlton push forward more. Even extra pace on the counter would be advisable. They've got a great opportunity now, Palace, I think, to score more goals.
Minto. And Walsh. Let's have a word with the Palace manager, Alan Smith.
Right, Alan, perhaps you should talk to us more often here, because we were about to talk to you, and that goal went in a great moment for you.
Yes, it was, Jim, and a little bit fortunate there, but taking David Pleat's advice earlier on John Salako's crosser. Thanks very much, David. I'll pass that on. But I think we've been threatening the goal, but you can see how difficult Charlton are to break down. They've kept going. They're very well organised, you know, and they get people behind the ball, and when they do get us on the break, the big Leaburn in the boxes causes problems. I think the big thing now is that we mustn't lose concentration. You know, we're high now. Their minds are going racing 100 miles an hour. We've got to steady the ship a little bit, and that's where a little bit of experience in midfield would sometimes help us, which we haven't had. But hopefully we can go on and just keep a clean sheet and not do anything silly. But we've got to start playing with our heads a little bit and not just with our hearts.
Just finally, a bit of activity behind us. Are you going to give Bruce Dyer a run, Alan?
I think so. Paul Stewart's struggling a little bit, Jim, and I think I've got to make a few changes.
Great to talk to you during the game. Thanks again.
Amazing first season as a manager Alan Smith is having. Great organiser and coach. Good at man management, but he was saying to me the thing he still finds hard to cope with is that 90 minutes on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon. I think you can get just about everything right, but of course once the ref blows the whistle, human frailties come into play. I suppose that's a burden that all managers have to bear, David.
Yeah, Alan's coping very well. He's a very sensible guy, and he's worked within the club for a few years now, so he's seen how other people cope with it, and obviously his experience in non-league and his maturity has stood him in good stead.
Humphrey puts it away. Nelson wants to keep it going. It's with Colin Walsh. If Charlton could get something back here as Leaburn goes for this one, but again, good handling from Martyn. Still a quarter of an hour left. Southgate. Humphrey up towards Armstrong. Salako again on the far side. Another corner. Palace are going to make a substitution in a moment. And we heard Alan Smith talking about it. It'll be Paul Stewart, I imagine, coming off, and Bruce Dyer coming on, the 18-year-old, the £1 million player at 18. And Charlton are going to bring Kim Grant on. And taking off Gary Nelson. So Kim Grant is on. But Bruce Dyer not yet on for Crystal Palace. Here comes a corner, Simon Rodger. They've been delivering good corners this afternoon. Floating another one in there. But Charlton getting that one clear. Gordon playing it wide. Simon Rodger still on that far side. Salako's outside him. That gives Rodger the chance to burst inside. Simon Rodger. Good stop. Good shot and a good stop.
That was first-class play by Rodger. Look at the determination as soon as the gap opened up. And it was a good ball across the face of the goal. The slightest mishandle or another yard inside and someone else would have touched it in the net. Good save by Vaughan.
Pitcher. Pardew. Walsh. Minto. Now Grant, his first touch. Minto again. Pardew. Good job by Humphrey. Minto forced to double back. Good play by Armstrong. I love to see players attacking goalkeepers in that way on those back passes. You can panic them so easily. And Bruce Dyer comes on, 18 years old, £1 million player. Paul Stewart getting a great round of applause. Scorer of the second goal, and he's put in some lovely touches today. Stewart on loan here until the end of the month, plus another 3 games, I gather. Humphrey with the throw for Palace. Humphrey. Came off Minto. Another throw. There's his cross, a deep one, towards Dyer. Salako. Flag stays down, still in play. No, it's not. But Salako with the throw, might hurl another long one here. Although, yes, well, he's hurled one for Gordon. And now Dyer. Well, that was nearly a sensational start for him.
Yeah, that was his first touch. I was looking for the linesman there briefly. I think he's in an offside. Oh, maybe no, I'm wrong. No, it was a chance. Okay. That's a chance, and really that ball's got to go across the face of the goal. He's a little bit hurried, and it's rather wild, and it does go down as a good chance.
And Charlton making another substitution. They're bringing on Phil Chapple, and Mark Robson's gone off. And Phil Chapple, the big defender, number 23, formerly of Cambridge United, up amongst the front runners. But beaten in the air that time by Eric Young. Pardew. What do you make of that substitution? Has Robson maybe taken a little knock, do you think? Or is this a ploy where they put the big man up in the hope of unsettling Palace a bit?
Yes, I think they feel they haven't been able to football their way through for a clean chance at goal. They've had half chances, particularly with Leaburn's header back and then Mark Robson's shot. But Palace are looking more threatening now, the more Charlton push forward, and I think it's quite a case of last 10 minutes, guys, you know, let's try and bomb a few balls forward. 2 people of real presence up front, Leaburn and Chapple, and hope that Grant can get some bits and pieces off them.
Here's Armstrong. Dyer in the middle. Salako's coming into it as well. Armstrong might get to the line. Oh, my goodness, right across that 6-yard area. There were 3 Crystal Palace players there, and not one of them could get a touch. But again, a riveting piece of play by Chris Armstrong. Dyer. Rodger. Southgate's ball nodded away by McLeary. Salako. Crossed in again. Oh, again, that man Armstrong is there. Let's have a word with Alan Kirbishley.
Alan, how can you pull this one round?
Well, I mean, obviously we're disappointed. 2 crosses, 2 goals, you know, and I think that's the difference between the two teams. Somehow Palace have been able to get a forward line of worth nearly 4 million. One's on loan, one's been here. And that's the difference, I think. I think we've got as many decent crosses in, but we haven't finished them. And they're strong all round, Palace, and I think the defence don't give too much away, and that's probably why they're in front now.
You found it very hard to contain Chris Armstrong today, haven't you?
I think anyone with his pace is very difficult to contain. And as I say, probably at the end of the day, it's Palace's spending power, which is probably better than ours, and that's the difference.
But you'll keep battling on.
Yeah, I mean, we've said all along we've had a difficult couple of games, but there's another 12 games to go, and we've had a bad time. But if we can put a run together, we'll be OK.
Thanks, Alan.
I was saying to you earlier on, the haves and the have-nots, and Alan Kirbishley underlining that, David Fleet, that you know, Charlton, with what they've done, what they've been able to spend, have done brilliantly. But Crystal Palace have had greater options, obviously, with the money they've got available. Minto. It's going to be a throw to Crystal Palace.
It'll be interesting to see the true test of Palace's ambition. They've already had to sacrifice the likes of Wright and Bright,
Jeff
Thomas, and now we'll just have to see if they gain promotion. And they're now 13 points clear at this moment in time of Charlton Athletic, 14 points clear. If they get into the Premiership and the
Dyer. Sorry, David, go on.
The two clubs that were relegated last year currently head this league, which is also interesting, Forest and Palace. And if they get back up, it'll be important for them to hold all the better younger players, the likes of Southgate and Rodger in midfield, Salako, who's re-emerging, and certainly Armstrong, because you need goal scorers.
84, 6 minutes to go. We've got to name a man of the match. I wonder who on earth that can be. There's Armstrong. Armstrong again, just caught. I'm not even sure it was Armstrong offside. It may well have been Bruce Dyer.
Walsh, pitcher, might be something here for Charlton. He hit it first time, didn't have the power that was needed. Minto crosses it in, Young stands up big and strong and gets it away. Minto again for Charlton. Towards the near post, keeper shouts Martyn. And his throw out is perfection itself to Salako. Steve Gritt out of his dugout there, really, and I think the referee's going across to have a word with Steve Gritt there, because he was out of his dugout there. He was absolutely incensed where the linesman was giving the throw to Crystal Palace, and he felt it should have been a Charlton one. Free kick. Palace then a few minutes away from being 5 points clear at the top of the Ainslie Insurance League, 5 points clear of Nottingham Forest. It's a free kick for Charlton. Let's see what happens here, then we can talk about the man of the match with you, David. It'll be Walsh who takes this free kick. Phil Chappell's poised on this side. Balmer's come up as well. Leaburn's in there, and indeed it was Chapple with a header. And an acrobatic one it was too, and it was only, it skidded no more than 18 inches wide.
Once again, that in-swinging ball, difficult to defend. Clever little flick by Chapple.
Now Dyer. Oh, my goodness, that brought the crowd to their feet, that one. That was a crazy angle, but it was a phenomenal shot by the 18-year-old Bruce Dyer.
Yeah, he's another thruster. He's got the pace there. You see him edge that ball in front of McLeary. Can't quite get there. He takes it another touch. His angle is wide, but didn't he hook that round well and at pace? Fine save by Vaughan.
It's a corner then for Crystal Palace, but just a little glimpse there of the £1 million 18-year-old, and pretty impressive it was. Rodger with the corner. And that time it was Chris Coleman. Let's talk about the man of the match, David.
Well, I think all these Eagles have flown high today, but none as high as Chris Armstrong. He soars in the air, he's got terrific pace, and he's a real important cog in the Palace machine at the moment. They've all been competent today. Martyn's handled very well. Salako, when he's been on the ball, has looked effective, but Armstrong has been the man that's made it happen for them in the most vital area of the field.
Young gets it away for Salako. Here's the man of the match, Chris Armstrong. But stopped that time by Vaughan. Thought that was suddenly going to be the most appropriate flourish for the announcement of the man of the match.
I don't think it's a difficult decision today. I mean, it's one of those where he's really been inspiring in some of his work.
It's Charlton's free kick. Scott Minto with it. Humphrey with the clearance. Have you enjoyed the game, David?
Do you know, I thoroughly enjoyed the game, Brian. It's been a lovely day here today. We've seen some good football, and it's shown really how the end of this season is going to really be exciting. I think Charlton have done well. I don't think we should take any credit away from them. They just haven't had that cutting edge that Palace have shown.
That's right. Dyer to Armstrong. Walsh. Cut out by Southgate. Picked up by Humphrey. Challenged by Walsh. Here's Rodger. Southgate again. Humphrey again. Played short for Bowry. To Martyn. Time added on. Well, I suppose a lot of Charlton fans will be disheartened. They've had a bad little run, but they've had such difficult away games. I fancy they'll come again. They've got plenty of good home games to come. But 2 games in hand on a lot. And Palace fans will be jubilant. This has been a very good result for them. Kim Grant, no. Martyn will get there first. It's been a very good result for them. As David says, they've had that little cutting edge that's just added to so much of their good team play. Referee looking at the watch. It's over. And Palace now find themselves 5 points clear of Nottingham Forest at the top. Forest, though, have a game in hand. An important victory here. Chris Armstrong, the man of the match, with that soaring header in the first half. That set them on their way just before half-time. And then Paul Stewart adding the second. And Charlton contributing to an excellent game of football in the first division of the NCD, played in a terrific spirit and enjoyed by a good big crowd here, none more so than the Crystal Palace manager Alan Smith. So the final score then here at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 2, Charlton Athletic 0.
Chris Armstrong, David Pleats decided you're the man of the match. Well, I'm sure you will be first to make sure. You want to pay tribute to a very good team performance here today.
Yeah, I thought the team played brilliant today. It's the best we played for the last few months. Paul Stewart was great up front as well. He was strong, held the ball up well for us. just a good all-round team performance. Just pleased to get the win.
How much has Paul Stewart coming here, Chris, improved your own game, do you feel?
Well, you know, he's come in, he's helped the whole team really, because, you know, he's brought a bit of steel into the team that we didn't really have before. You know, and he's knocked a few about up there, so,
right.
You know, it's good all round.
And you're up at the top to be shot at, but you're going to take some catching now, the Palace.
Well, you know, we've got to take every game as it comes now and try and, you know, get a good result. Each one, we had a disappointing result in midweek. Just pleased to bounce back with a win.
You won't be disappointed about this. It's a fabulous trophy. It's the Ensley Owl, Chris Armstrong. Great performance from you today. Very well done. Many congratulations. That's yours to keep, by the way.
Okay, thanks a lot. Cheers.
I thought that, you know, if John could get going in the game, even in the second half, you know, he wasn't involved too much. You know, Bobby Bowry down the right-hand side, I thought, was always busy, always in the game. Down the left-hand side, John didn't really get into it, but when he did, again, there's a stamp of class. And at the end of the day, you know, class will out in the end, and the class players were on the Palace side this afternoon.
It came in the 70th minute, and it really was the final nail in the coffin, wasn't it?
Well, there you go. I mean, he got down there under a bit of pressure from the full-back, got the cross in, and Paul Stewart, who I thought led the line very, very well. You know, he linked up everybody, laid nice little simple balls off, and thoroughly deserved to get in there and get the goal, because he'd been in, the instigator of the move in the first place, and then got there. Come in, the marking, you have to say, is pretty poor. Found a lot of space there, and a bit of a half and half header, if you like, but you'd be pleased to see that bobbling over the goalkeeper.
We heard Alan Kirbishley during the game say 2 crosses, 2 goals. Was that too simple an assessment of the difference?
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, in football, nothing has changed. If you can get to the byline or get close to the byline, cross balls, and people score goals from it, that's always been the case. You know, that's the way to score goals in football. And they didn't defend very well against them. Certainly, when he looks at the marking there, for the Stewart goal, I think he will blame his defenders on that one. But they themselves had a couple of chances from crosses, and Leaburn nodding balls down.
Well, we can cross to Wembley now, say, because...
Gareth, there's a noise in a very happy dressing room in there. Do the players feel you're almost there now?
Well, I mean, we've got to pick up another 10, 15 points, I think. The manager's looking for another 5 wins, I think, to make sure. But that gives us a nice cushion to take away. We've got a couple of difficult away games to come up. And, yeah, we're confident.
But there's terrific belief, there's terrific optimism around this Palace side today.
Well, I think it was important. We had a bad result in the week, and we needed to bounce back with a win. Charlton have been up there or thereabouts the whole season, and, you know, we've played them 5 or 6 times, so we knew today would be a tough game. We're delighted to get the win.
And you've got 1 or 2 very important fixtures coming up here, you've just been telling me.
That's right, yeah, Millwall have got to come here. That's always a big game. If we can get a result against them, then we look well on our way.
How nerve-wracking is this run-in for everybody?
It's surprising, really. Last year, I think, was worse when we were at the bottom and we needed to win to stay up. You feel a bit of pressure, but I think we're playing decent football now, and you know, we're confident.
I'm not surprised. Thanks for joining us. Go back and have your shower.
Thanks a lot.
Well, a few happy people down at Palace, I'm not surprised. But a word about Charlton. One of their joint managers said they were beaten by 2 crosses, 2 goals, but they got some crosses of their own in. Just after the break, they had a chance there. Was it over the line? Wasn't it? I know.
Well, it looked very close, certainly. I'm not too sure if the television tells the full story here. I mean, Nigel Martyn went down there at the post. Look, you can't really tell if it was over. Only the linesman probably, maybe the referee, could tell if that was over the line. But I mean, it was as close as it came all afternoon. But I thought both goalkeepers played well, and what they had to do, you know, there was a bit of quality. I thought Martyn played well, and I thought John Vaughan was excellent with some great saves. There's the table, and Palace, there you go, 5 points clear. As I was saying there, they've got a little cushion now, a bit of breathing space there. For Charlton, disappointing that. Still haven't won in front of TV. And maybe if they've got a TV game coming up, they won't want to play it.
Maybe they can try and drop out of it. But they've got 2 games in hand and quite a few games at home.
Yes, they have. I mean, I just hope that Charlton can get back into the race because they've played ever so well, you know, this season.
OK, so